Good evening, good evening. Happy Friday, happy FICO Friday. Everybody a few minutes to hop on today. Today is Friday, September 6th, 2019. My favorite day of the week. Every day actually my favorite day of the week, but definitely today would have been FICO Friday. King Armand, what's going on? Welcome, welcome. FICO Friday is in full effect. Anthony, I see you, man. Hey, hit me up tonight, man. Queen Ashay, I believe I pronounced your name right. I apologize if I did not. Carlton, what's going on, fam? King Justice. Tamika Sledge, peace, what's going on? Welcome. All right, family. So today is Friday, September 6, 2019. I will be looking at a couple different videos, couple different camera shots. We have Facebook, we have Mr. Will Roundtree, IG, and then we have Jay Morrison page, IG as well. So for those who may not know me, my name is Will Roundtree, a credit mastery instructor here at the Jay Morrison Academy, president and co-founder of Easy Funding, president and founder of We Management Services, author of the book Credit is King, and all that other good stuff. But today it's all about you guys. King Isaac, what's going on, man? Hey, you're going to have to let a brother hold something, man. I'm seeing them checks you posting, King. Proud of you, man. Keep doing your thing. And so, like I say, today is all about you guys. I really enjoy doing my FICO Fridays. It's a way for me to give back, give you guys some information. Hopefully that's helpful for everybody. And all of us take this information and run with it. You know, one of the things that I've learned is that in business, so often people want to get information and hoard it. You know, like me sharing my information with somebody else is going to take away from my blessings. No, it actually is going to help. I'm always saying, you know, me taking my flame to light your torch doesn't take away from my flame. And so we have to stop being scared to give back. We have to stop being scared to help out, because if it hadn't been for the people who came before me, who saw more in me than I saw in myself and wanting to give me information. Neff, what's going on, fam? I wouldn't be where I am today. And so it's only right that I continue to pay it forward. And like I always say, I do my best to give you guys as much content-rich information as possible. None of that fluff, you know, all liquor, no chaser, as I call it. You know what I'm saying? So this is the liquor of information, all shots. And for those who know, my drink of choice is Patron. So, you know, this is the Patron of the business credit, the Patron of credit, Patron of entrepreneurship. I'm going to give you guys all that information. So today we're going to talk about business etiquette. You may ask, what is business etiquette? And essentially just giving you guys some game on how to deal with people, how to deal with business, how to deal with banks. Because so often I see so many people who become stagnant in business because of the lack of information we haven't been privileged to. You know, we can't get mad at somebody who may not know that a certain etiquette when it comes to business, because we may not have been taught that. You know, only thing we know is what we've been taught or what we've been exposed to. Unfortunately, a lot of us have not been exposed to business. We haven't been exposed to entrepreneurship. We haven't been exposed to CEOs. Excuse me. We haven't been exposed to leadership. All these things are things that we need to grow in business. You know, I was just having a talk with someone, a consultation earlier today, and people always constantly ask me, like, what books do you recommend I read? And I always say, I recommend you read a ton of books on leadership, because if you ever intend on growing in a business, not a business, in a company. For those who don't know, it's a difference between having a business and running a company. Anybody can have a business, literally, meaning I can go down to the Secretary of State, complete my paperwork, get an EIN number, and I have a business. Hand out some business cards and do all that. When you have a company requires you to work with people. Company requires you to to pour into your people. Having a company or running a company requires you to have leadership, because your company is only going to grow to the level of the capacity of your lid. As John Maxwell talks about in a book, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, the law of the lid. If your capacity to grow is only 3 feet high, your company will never go above 3 feet high. So we always have to constantly grow, whether it's in our personal walk, our business walk, financial walk. All of those things matter because, again, leadership is a part of etiquette. I can remember being in corporate America. It was a bunch of people who were management to me, with whatever position I was in at the time, but that didn't make them a leader. See, titles don't make you a leader. The people define whether you're a leader or not. If people choose to follow you, that means you have qualities of a leader. If people buy into your vision, if they buy into your goals, if they buy into, whatever the buy-in is, that means you are a leader. And a good leader has to be able to properly lead. And a great leader is going to create other leaders. That's another thing. If you see a company and one person is always at the top, that person is not a leader. That person is just really good at giving orders and securing his bag. You want to be able to multiply yourself. You want to be able to duplicate yourself. You want to be able to replace yourself in business. Because, and I talk to a lot of upcoming entrepreneurs about this all the time, that your company will never scale if you wear every single hat. I can remember, when I was growing my business, I was scared to relinquish things within my company because I wanted to do everything. I wanted to be able to just tell somebody, hey, I'm the CEO and this, that, and the third. Titles mean nothing. I could be the janitor of my company and still control 90% of the profits. That's just where I chose to position myself within my company. But guess what? I hired a CEO. I hired a CFO. I hired an operational manager. I hired a director. I hired a secretary. I hired an accountant. So I'm just a visionary of that company. And again, you learn all of these things when it comes to becoming a leader. Like, throw all the titles out the window. I stop telling people you're the owner of the company when you're going and filling out applications. You want to be a president because the president has a position within a company. The owner means nothing on the credit application. I'm putting y'all up on some game, all right, which I'm going to give y'all some more here today. All right. So today, business etiquette, what we want to talk about. So a couple different things is when it comes to business etiquette, there's different variations of etiquette that we're going to talk about. The most common one, because in the world of the digital age that we live in right now, the most, the one that just comes to mind at the top is email. There's an email etiquette and protocol when it comes to doing business. And so now, everything that I'm going to share with you guys is merely out of love, so I don't want anybody to take this personal. I don't think I'm taking stabs or shots at anybody because, again, everything that I talk about is also a reminder for myself. I'm a product of the product. So anything that I'm doing or I'm sharing, even with my accountability partners, when I say, hey, I need you to get up at X amount at 6:30 every single morning and go do X, Y, and Z before you get your day started. I'm also saying that for myself to continue to keep myself accountable. And so everything that I'm going to be talking about here today is also to hold myself accountable. But then again, of course, it's for my family. So when it comes to email etiquette, you want to be, make sure that when you're sending an email, first of all, when you're sending an email to someone who is in business, someone who is running a company, or someone who you are deciding to do business with, or someone who you want to potentially mentor you, don't send an email as if you're talking to them on the street, because you don't know what the person on the end, what their level of, for lack of better terms, of vernacular is going to be when it comes to doing business. Meaning, yeah, granted, we hop on the lives and do different things, and when we go back and forth, and I try to speak to everybody in the capacity to where we all can get it. But when it comes to dealing with emails, and I want to share this with people, because if we're getting emails like this, I'm pretty sure others may be sending these type of emails to other businesses and other entities. So whenever you're sending an email, make sure that you include a subject line. I mean, if you are sending an email to someone because you want to find out what is the update status of your credit repair, what is your status of your funding for your applications, If you just want to get a follow-up, make sure you have a subject line in your email. You'll be surprised. Little bitty things like this is sometimes why people don't respond back to your emails. Because if I'm dealing with someone who's telling me they want to be a boss or they are a boss and they got all these great things going on, but they can't do something as simple as send a proper email, you potentially run a risk of getting that email answered at the latter part of the day or at the end of the stack or whatever the case is. So we want to be very pointed about what the description of the email is about, because again, a person can't assume what you are talking about, or don't assume that we remember the conversation from 6 weeks ago, 2 years ago. In business, people deal with a lot of people, just like if I was to send an email to someone, I'm going to make sure that I have a description of what this discussion within this email is going to be about. So we want to be very descriptive in our subject line, and it doesn't have to be, an entire, soliloquy of in the subject line. You just want to be short, right to the point, very precise what the email is about. Next, be direct with the purpose of what you are wanting to discuss in the email. That's another thing. So often people, when they're looking to get credit repair, they'll just email us their login information. Okay, first of all, I don't know who you are. Secondly, let me know if you are a client already, if you're not a client, if you're looking to become a client. And so same thing when you're dealing with, contacting banks and other companies and other facilities and other people in business. You want to be very descriptive in your email. And yeah, C. Philly talks about learning jargon. You want to understand the jargon within whatever industry you're going to be discussing. That's very important. Especially if you're talking about, hey, I want to partner with you, but then you're calling me and nothing in the email screams that you know anything about what is going to take for us to get to the next level together. Immediately that email is going to go to the bottom of the list. And so again, and this even goes, for people who are dialing for dollars, or, for all my wholesalers who are sending out newsletters and emails and calls and all these different things, or for just people who are in sales. You run the risk of someone not responding to you just because of the lack of information. So learn the jargon. It's extremely important. I can remember when I was in sales, if I was calling someone who did HVAC, I'm going to speak the language of a contractor who did HVAC. If it was somebody who, was an attorney that I was trying to sell ads to, I'm going to speak, whatever their lingo is. So yeah, you got to learn the lingo. Just like if you was going to the West Coast and you're from the East Coast, you might switch up your lingo. So we just got to understand when it comes to business, it's the exact same way. It takes 4 seconds to Google, just to learn a little bit about, okay, I'm calling, XYZ company. I want to learn a little bit about what they do. How can I be of value? And that's the other thing. When we're sending emails saying we want to be a part of what somebody else has going on, find out or let them know what value you bring to the table. Understanding that's extremely important, because, you got to remember, people, and I'm speaking across the landscape of anybody who reaches out to someone that they're trying to partner with, they're probably getting bombarded with people saying the exact same thing that you're saying. Hey, I want to work with you. I want you to sit down. I want to take you to lunch, this, that, and the third. Instead of doing all those things, share how you can be of value to them. I can remember when I first started working with my partner, Paul Thornton. For those who do not know, Paul started out as one of my clients. He came, was working on his credit. He was recently, at that time, looking to purchase a fourplex. Got his credit in position, closed on a fourplex, and then just because of his, quest of wanting to grow as an entrepreneur at the time, he would say, let me know how I can be of service to you. And this was around the time when my company was having some growing pains. I was getting more clients that I could handle. I wanted to wear all the hats by myself. And he would come in and he literally worked with me for free. I mean, he would say, hey, send me some files. Let me call some clients. Let me do this. Let me do that. And I can remember Paul working with me for almost 12 months before he never asked for anything. I just said, you know what? I really enjoy what you have been doing. You've been, studying the lingo. You took it upon yourself to learn as much as you can without, you feeling you got to come to the office and sit with me every single day. And so, so I wanted to give back to him. And so, again, he showed what value he brought to the table. And again, that's what we need to be able to do. So, again, that's a form of business etiquette, showing what value you bring to the table. Another thing is we got to start respecting each other's time. So often I get people who, text me all day and we haven't even really got into business yet. So you have to start being respectful of other people's time. You'll be surprised that, I get it. Sometimes you want to be persistent, but it's a difference between being persistent and being a pest. And we got to be very careful about that. It's a fine line. And so understanding that we have to, again, show our value of why someone will want to respond back to you, or, and stop wanting to get people's time for free all the time. And remember, it may not always be in the form of monetary. Again, show what value that you bring to the table. Those are the things that, help people stand out amongst the crowd. So far, I hope this information is helpful for you guys. If this information is being helpful for others, give me a few emojis down below. All right, a couple other things. Now, I touched on this briefly last week about, why your applications are being denied, especially business credit applications. This is very, common that a lot of businesses get their applications denied because they don't know the lingo, or they just don't know the basic things about their business. You'd be surprised. And so one of the things in business etiquette is know what you do for your business. And what I mean by that is that it's standard protocol that when a bank contacts you and you're trying to get some capital from the bank, which is their money. Well, it's really our money that we deposit, but y'all know what I mean. And they ask you, okay, so tell me a little bit about your business. If you got to think about what you do for business, but you're asking this bank to give you $100,000, $50,000, $20,000, you run the risk of them immediately denying that application. So we have to understand, we need to know what we do for our business. Look, okay, now I tell everybody who's in what I call a high risk industry. And so I'll give you guys just some tips for people who may also be in the credit space. So my company is a credit repair company, my parent company. All right, well, credit education, I like to say. Whenever I'm sitting down with the bank, I'm a consulting business. So I'm going to speak to lingo of a consulting company. So, Mr. Roundtree, what does your company do? Well, we consult other businesses in improving and scaling and growing their companies. Very short, precise, kind of vague, but usually they're not going to really dig and pry. They just have to put something down on the application. See, a lot of times we get scared and think they being nosy. No, they have to put something down. Because, again, by not knowing these things, and you say, oh, well, we do credit repair and we go around the country and travel and do this, and knowing that it's a high risk industry, you run the risk of either one, minimizing what your approval is going to be, or two, getting an instant denial. So we need to start learning these things. We need to learn the description of our business. Another thing in talking about understanding the description of our business. If you have a business partner, or if you have a spouse that is running the business with you, make sure they know what you do, because it's very common, and I've seen this a lot, especially by just dealing with the banks that we work with. You have a husband and wife partner, or a partner, two partners in the company. One knows the business inside and out, and the other one just kind of is on the company. Pretty sure we all have businesses like that. But the person who is just on the company is the one with the great credit. So they're the one who has to talk to the bank underwriter. The bank underwriter picks up the phone call, does their just standard checks and procedures, and the person who is just on the company with the great credit knows nothing about the description of the company, nothing about what you do, can't provide any product information on the company. Guess what? You just ran the risk of your credit application being what? Denied. So it's important that you make sure everybody on your team, or who is a part of the process within the company, or even if they're just a credit partner, do yourself a favor and make sure you explain what the description or what your company does. Because if an underwriter calls and you can't explain what you do for a business, to them that looks like what? fraud, you're not a legitimate business. Remember, business is all about perception. So the perception is you need to at least know what you're doing, even if you don't. Or at least your partner needs to know what you're doing, even if they don't. And so that's really important, because you'd be surprised, over 80% of credit applications get denied just because they can't articulate what they do. And again, you don't have to go into extreme detail. Look, I'm a consulting firm. We consult other businesses on how to structure and properly set up their entities. Boom. You know what? We're an education company. We educate small and medium-sized businesses on how to properly scale their company. And so understanding that you don't have to go into detail. First of all, the person on the other end don't even care about the details. They're just trying to hurry up and get through the application so they can process it and possibly get to the next one. But we have to know the information of the description of our company. Next one, and this is a really good one. When you're dealing with a bank that offers stated products, and for those who do not know what stated means you can state the information. So if a bank asks you, and I want you guys to take notes on this if you have not done so, because this is probably the number one area where I see most people this is the number one area where I see a lot of people who aren't able to properly capitalize on the power of stated products that the banks offer. Okay, so when a bank offers stated products, that means you can state your information. They're essentially going on an honor system, for lack of better words, that you are going to state the description, the income, the process, procedures, all of that of your company. So, a couple different pieces of advice. When the bank asks you about your income, and remember, usually most banks that offer unsecured, and for those who do not know what unsecured means, that means you're not putting up any collateral or anything. When the capital or the funding is unsecured, 9 times out of 10, you can state your information. So, if a bank asks you what was your annual income, and no knock against anybody who is in this tax bracket, if you make $25,000 a year and you tell them you only make $25,000 a year, you run the risk of your application being denied. I'm just letting you know. So, because you can use stated and household and projected income, I always tell people the threshold you can go up to is about $100,000 to $150,000. I'm putting y'all up on some game. So, even if you only made $25,000 for the year, do not tell the bank that, because again, they're going to go based off of your debt to income. So you could have an 850 credit score. The bank doesn't care about your credit score. Say less. Absolutely. The bank doesn't care about your 850 credit score, because that's just one of the components they're looking at. They're also going to be looking at what your DTI is. So if your DTI is higher than what you bring home on paper, guess what's going to happen to that application? So again, we need to learn the lingo. We need to learn the business etiquette of how stated income products work. So again, when it comes to your business, if the bank offers a stated product for your business as well, again, you can use future projected business income, which means you can state the income for the business. So now, the good thing about the banks that are offering stated products, they usually don't ask for proof of the income. So now, just as a kind of well, for one, this is why it's good to have what's the word I'm looking for? Access to experts, excuse me. Because the experts, we're usually going to tell our client ahead of time, hey, this bank does stated products, so they're not going to ask for the proof of income. They're probably not going to require tax returns, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is how I want you to go in and state your income, this, et cetera, et cetera. So for those who have worked with me and my team personally, our team, we've been able to guide them through the process seamlessly, which is why we probably have about a 95+% closing ratio when it comes to helping our clients getting access to business lines of credit, because we know what the underwriters are looking for from a credit standpoint. And 2, we know how to properly help them to navigate through the application. So again, a part of understanding business etiquette is knowing what to look for when it comes to dealing with banks. 2, the difference between a stated and a non-stated product. and also a doc and a no doc product, meaning you're not necessarily having to provide tax returns and blood samples and urine samples and all this other stuff that, you know, some banks require you to have. And so just by not knowing vital information like that, and believe me, you may have had to pay for coaching to even get access to that information. But this is what I always tell people. You know, I talk to, you know, being in Las Vegas, you know, it's a ton of casinos out here. And it's interesting because I'll see people go and risk $1,000 trying to break even to make $1,000. But we don't want to invest $1,000 in our business to make $100,000. And so the thing that I'm always telling people is that in business, not saying you have to pay for everything or there's a cost to everything, but you have to be willing to invest in yourself. And so if it took me $3,000 to invest to put myself in position to get $300,000, I'm going to invest the $3,000. And yeah, it may take me 2 years. I'm fine with that. Because if I stayed on the current plan I was on, how long would it take you to make $300,000 doing exactly what you're doing now? Without investing in yourself, investing in systems, investing in, you know, hiring experts, etc. So like someone said, leaving money on the table. Absolutely. We're leaving money on the table because of the lack of information we have. You know, it's the difference between getting a $10,000 approval or getting a $100,000 approval. You know, for those who don't know, based off of your income, the banks usually give you anywhere between 10 to 20% of your gross revenues for your business. So if you told the bank that your company did $6,000 because you wrote off everything, you expensed everything on your tax return. Again, this is why we need to know, we need to have mentors to teach us about how to properly do these applications. And you put down you made $6,000 after expenses. If you only got 10% of that, or even 20% of that, you're only getting what, $1,200 for the approval. So again, we have to understand the power of knowing what a stated application looks like, what a stated bank process look like. Understanding also, a lot of banks allow you to apply for multiple products. And so when a bank calls you and say, hey, what's the purpose of the funds for? You can't say, I don't know. You just shot the deal. You just killed the deal. You left money on the table. Look, we're looking to scale our business. We're looking to purchase some inventory. Even if you're not looking for inventory, the easiest way is always say, hey, we're looking for working capital. We're looking for working capital because every single bank knows that every single business can always or never has enough working capital. So as minute as these, tips may sound, I'm telling you, I've seen so many people leave so much money on the table or get denied just because of the lack of not knowing this information. You're looking to expand, you're looking to grow your company, you're looking for working capital, all those things. And another thing, this is why I always tell people you want to know what the high risk industries are. Because if you are in a high risk industry, and this is typically where I see this happen at, we get proud of what we do for our business, as we rightfully so should. But by not understanding the way banking and financing and lending works, and you're telling people, hey, I'm a real estate investor, I flip 1 million homes, this, that, and the third, the bank just killed your application. Remember, the bank doesn't like to deal with real estate investors. So we've told our clients, hey, say you do property management, it's less risk, or even if you are in real estate, look, I'm a marketing company. You market properties. Again, this is the power of mentorship. Luckily, we offer forums like this to be able to give you guys this information, but I really want you guys to grasp this info because I'm telling you, it's not going to be this easy forever getting this money. Like my brother Beyond said, King, I think you're still on the live, getting access to the money is easy. It really should never be a reason we can't put ourselves in position. Now, personally, you may not be able to right now because maybe your credit, but it may take you a while. And that's fine. Do what you got to do to get in position. See, that's the thing. We have to get in position. A lot of times we want to cut corners or we in a hurry. And I'm like, what you in a hurry for? Yeah, granted, it's not going to be like that forever. But if you hadn't been working on yourself, people who would want to do business with you potentially could let you use them to be positioned to be a credit partner. So now you can go and get the capital. So again, it's all about just etiquette, period. Business etiquette. banking etiquette, email etiquette, personal etiquette. All those things really do make a difference. And so, again, a lot of this information I'm telling you, especially because I see people asking me comments in a live about, is this industry high risk? Google it. Google will tell you if a business is high risk. Plus, different banks have different high risk levels. I tell all my companies who are in trucking, instead of saying, hey, I'm in trucking business, say, hey, I have an in-town delivery service company. We're a courier service. And so, again, just being creative and as I call it, flying below the radar when it comes to dealing with banks. And again, a lot of this information is I had to learn over the years. I was fortunate enough to have mentors who I was able to rub elbows with in these different circles, but then I also invested in the information. I can remember flying all across the country, putting everything on my credit card, not even really having the money years ago, but I knew one day it was going to pay off. And that's the other thing, we gotta just start investing in ourselves and getting this information and stop trying to piecemeal everything together. We go to this person's live to try to learn this. We go to this person's live to try to learn that. Then we come to the next person live and we try to put all that together and it don't make sense. That's because we keep trying to get everything for free. Now, sometimes we have to invest to get the proper information, invest to get to that next level. And it's not what you say, it's how you present. Absolutely. And that's why I always tell people, business is all about perception. It's about perception. Once we understand that, we will understand that if we know how to properly present ourselves to the banks, properly present ourselves to the potential clients, all of those things matter, I'm telling you. So hopefully you guys have learned something. I'll open it up for some Q&A, and we can go from there. Let's see. Y'all got some questions? We cut from the same cloth. Peace. What's going on, family? I see you out there. Let me see what we got. Inventory and equipment. Absolutely. I tell every single bank, look, I'm trying to buy some inventory. The equipment can be your auto. Did you know you can use an equipment loan to purchase an automobile for your company through your business? A lot of people didn't know that, which also makes it a tax write-off. You can write the purchase price of the vehicle off because you have gotten an equipment line of credit. True story, as King Eric always says out of Chicago. Let me see. One thing about me, I am a risk taker. All right, King. You're a risk taker, King Jamal. I like to hear that. Is what you're talking about for bank loans or credit cards? It doesn't matter. Same. It's pretty much the same, King. Plug_best_friend. You can use stated as long as it is unsecured capital. One-on-one coaching. Yes, send us a message. We do offer one-on-one coaching. I want to know that strategy, King. Waterproof 12. Get at us. What about clothing line? Please be more specific. Thank you for the information. Thank you. No, appreciate you being on here. If you have a 514 credit score and buy trade lines, what are your chances of being denied? 100% chance. Just buying trade lines doesn't do nothing for your for your credit. That's the thing. I did a FICOFRIDAY about the truth about trade lines. I always tell people buying trade lines when you have bad credit is like putting lipstick on a pig. It's still going to be ugly, for a lack of better words. But you have to fix what the root of the problem is on the credit first, and that's probably the derogatory information. And so don't spend a bunch of money on trade lines until you know what's going on. All right. Do you offer software or monitoring credit reports for clients? No, we don't personally, but we normally have our clients go and get their own credit monitoring service. Credit unions versus big banks in California. JD_Moore. It depends on what you're trying to apply for. Like, for example, if you're trying to do an auto loan, I love credit unions because they're going to give you the best rates. So it really just depends. So basically hire companies like Lexington Law. Not sure what that comment means. Add trade lines after the negative items are removed. Absolutely. But you only add the trade lines if you're going to be leveraging your credit for something. If I'm not going to be making a purchase, I'm not going to pay for trade lines because, Your score is going to look cute for a couple weeks, and then it's going to go right back to where it was. Hit the hammer on the head. Now, if they are giving me a loan for the equipment, the vehicle can be a write-off. Did I understand that correctly? Yes, if you get an equipment loan for your business, if you get an equipment loan from the bank, you can use that loan to buy a vehicle. All right. Do you need a protege? I don't need one, but I'm always looking for people who are coachable. That is the number one thing. Got to be coachable. All right. Also, I need more knowledge on checking on my business credit scores. King Neff, go to nav.com. Nav.com. And you can actually pull all three of your credit scores. And that is for anybody who wants to learn more about how to see their business credit reports. You can go to www.nav.com. You can actually get your Equifax business, your Experian business, as well as your Dun & Bradstreet score. All right. Will I be able to qualify for personal funding with 2 trade lines, authorized users? King Anthony, it depends what else is on the credit report. Some banks don't accept authorized users. So again, these are things that you have to know. You know, I just spoke to someone who spent like $4,500 on trade lines. They got jerked kind of, and didn't get approved for nothing. And that's because they didn't have any of their own primary accounts. If you don't have primary accounts and the bank doesn't accept authorized users, then you pretty much just, wasted your time. All right, JD, email team last week, no response. Is there another way to get this going? Send me a direct message, JD. I'll make sure somebody reach out to you. Whoever didn't follow up with you, they're fired. All right, so make sure you get back to me. What's the main reason a credit line increase is denied, King? It could be a couple different reasons. One is the DTI. I always tell people, if you go in for a credit limit increase, and you told them last time your income was $40,000, tell them it was $90 next time. I mean, there's so many different reasons. Another thing, a lot of banks, they do soft credit pulls while you have a credit card with them. So if you have other cards that are maxed out, or if they look at that you don't use the line of credit often, so there's so many different variables on why they could deny a credit limit increase. All right. I am coachable. Absolutely. We definitely hope so. Do you mind repeating that? Repeating what? I'm sorry, I'm not sure. All right. What is a trade line? So a trade line is just industry jargon, which is anything that is a line, the item that is reporting on your credit report. Now, the terminology of people using a trade line is more so for an authorized user, meaning if I have a credit card and I want to help someone build their score, I'm going to add them on as an authorized user, which means that essentially they will be renting the credit history of my credit card. If I wanted to give them the card, I can. That's very common when you have children or spouses, or if you run a business and you give a credit card to your employees, then yeah, you would make them an authorized user. But the primary purpose why people become authorized users is to help someone build a credit. How to find banks that do business loans for startups. It varies. I mean, you can call around. You'd be surprised how many banks are in your local geography. I always tell people, call around, but again, if you want to mitigate your kind of due diligence, that's why you want to, get with the company that offers funding or help different things, so we can help you to get to exactly what it is you're trying to do. All right. Trying to share this, but for some reason it's not letting me. Trying to pass the game, and I am getting. King Kendall, thank you, man. You already know, man. They be blocking this information. Some of these platforms be just shutting down on us, doing all type of stuff. So I'm trying to get me and my future team credit together before we go into business. Can you help us as a group? If so, how do we connect? Yes, Queen Tamika Sledge, we can help you with that. Make sure you send us a message and we can schedule a call. What banks are unstated? Man, we could be here all day, King _finance man. The proper question should be, what banks are stated? What banks are stated? All right. Wells Fargo told me they do not express loans for trucking. Yes, that is true. Not all banks do trucking. So you got to know what you are going for or who to do business with. Can you get a HELOC on an investment property? No, sir, Lee Brown. You can't get a HELOC on an investment property. Now, for those who are in the trucking industry, and it's only in certain geographies, we do have a bank. I personally work with a banker who can do 100% financing for trucking companies, but it has to be in their geography. So if you are in the trucking industry, send me a message. We'll find out if you qualify or if you're in that area. And if you are, let's get this money. All right. Let me help you get your trucking business off the ground. All right. Do I need to pay old medical bills from 4 years plus ago if it's only affecting one of the credit bureaus? I would say you want to try to get it off your report, because that one credit bureau may be the one bureau that the bank you're trying to get some money from. So you may want to look into that. How long does it take to build a 7-figure business line of credit? Depends on your company, depends on your credit, and it depends on the type of banks you're dealing with. Signed up for credit repair yesterday, King. Mr. Q Parker, thank you, man. Appreciate you. Would a trade line be good for applying for business credit cards to increase the credit line limit, or what's it for? So adding a trade line is going to vary, and we typically don't sell trade lines to the general public unless they're one of our clients, and we have to look at their credit score. And so only reason I tell people to add a trade line is, one, to either have a high limit to report on their credit, or to show a stronger age of their credit profile. What if I want to partner with someone in the trucking industry? Can I send that information to you? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. How do I sign up for credit repair with you? Send me a message and I'll have my team reach out to you. All right. Do you have any knowledge about funding for a nonprofit 501(c)(3)? King Anthony Condor, yes, because the baseline of a 501(c)(3) is still an LLC or a corporation. The 501(c)(3), is just the tax exemption status. So you fund it just like any other type of business. King, if I paid for credit to cash before 2 years ago, now I fixed my credit, how much more is needed to get easy funding? We have to look at your personal credit first, King. All right. How much for credit repair? Loyalty 1104. It depends on what's going on with your credit. Send me a message and I'll have my team reach out to you. All right. What if I get out? Sorry, I can't read the writing of some of these. All right. What if I get out? It's an authorized user, but the person goes above 30% of the credit. Would that impact my scores? Absolutely. Remember, if you're an authorized user on somebody's credit card and they get a late payment, you got a late payment. Do you help with LLC formations? I can recommend you to where a good source to go and get your LLC form. Mashallah, what's going on, cousin? I see you. All right. Pardon the crazy text. Use voice text. Let me see what else we got. Do you do trade lines? We sell trade lines. Yes, we do sell them. Do you get more funding for having a corporation than the LLC? No, it does not matter. How does easy funding compare to hard money loans? Two totally different products. Hard money loans is to finance an acquisition of a hard asset. Easy funding helps you get the money to even get into the hard money loan, because guess what? You still have to have money before a hard money company will fund you. You need to be able to show proof of funds. All right. What if you only have one collection and nothing else? Do you have a plan for that? Without knowing what your plan is, it would be hard to say, King. But I would say you probably want to book a consultation. So, that would be the best thing I can say. But yes, we have a plan for everything. We have a strategy for everything. It's just a matter of if a person is willing to follow the strategy. All right. Do business reporting affect easy funding? Yes. If you have negative items on your business credit, you will be impacted. I'm ready for the consultation. Where can I fast track my appointment? FX Bowers, send me a message and I will have my team reach out to you. How can we get the most funding on personal and biz? What do you recommend? It depends on the company. I will tell you. Have a very dense personal credit profile. Have a strong business credit profile. And I'm going to put y'all up on some game. Did you know you can get trade lines for your business? It's completely different than just adding an authorized user. If you want more information on that, shoot me a message, and I will get you in touch with how to get business credit trade lines. But I'm gonna tell you, you got to pay to play on that end. We're not talking $300-400, but that's because lines of credit are going on your company that are $40, $50, $60, $100, and $300,000 to make your business credit profile that much stronger. So for those who really trying to play in the big boy arena, definitely make sure to reach out to me. How does ownership of a business work with credit? If I own 50-50, I have that same question. So if you're in a partnership and one person has good credit, the other person has bad credit, being 50-50 partners can actually can hurt you if you don't know what you're doing. So make sure you understand how to properly set up your company if both of the partners do not have great credit, which is why I tell everybody, if you plan on going in business with somebody, make sure both partners have good credit. All right. Do you consult one-on-one for first-time home buyers? Yes, we do help out with that. Uline book just came in the mail. Should I order the Start Business Up My Business Credit, or is that not the move anymore? You don't have to spend a bunch of money with Uline. Uline only builds up your Paydex score, and banks aren't even looking at Paydex. Are you going to save this live? Yes, for some reason, Instagram isn't letting me save the lives to my phone anymore. So I'm going to try to save this. So got the camera in here today, so we're going to definitely try to save this, all right? Let me see. Can you give some advice on naming your LLC? I'm lost on finding a good consulting name. Barry Collins Consulting. That's a perfect name. Collins Consulting. CC Inc. You know, we don't have to overthink it, but yeah, keep it very simple, King. All right. Def interested in that business line of credit plug. Can afford to pay to play on that for sure. JD, definitely. I'm telling you though, I remember when I first found out about the business lines of credit, and again, this is why I talk about being coachable. I hit Paul up and I said, Paul, yo, you say you're trying to grow your business credit, right? Here are the business lines of credit. He was like, how much they cost? Told him what it was. He said, send me the invoice. See, in business, those are the type of individuals you want to do business with. You know, like, it's really not that hard of a decision. Now, if you don't have the money, that's different. But now let's figure out how do we get the money. You know, so the thing I'm always telling people, we have to stop telling ourselves we can't afford something. We need to start saying, how do I afford it? What do I have to do to put myself in position to afford that fourplex? What do I have to do to put myself in position to be able to afford coaching? What do I have to do to put myself in position to be able to purchase a 28-unit apartment building complex? We got to stop telling ourselves we can't afford it, because guess what? Now your mind starts to believe that. So, you know, that's why I tell people, and I'm just kind of give y'all some game. This is why in business you want to keep your circle small, because not everybody has the same mindset. Not everybody operates on the same frequency. You know, when you're dealing with people who are operating at a lower frequency, it's hard to maneuver with them, because everything that you want to do, they're going to question, and they're not even involved in what your processes are. So just understand, like, yo, we got to start operating with people who only operate on a level of high frequencies. And so anybody who I do business with or just deal with on a personal level, even outside of business, is just so fortunate that everybody who I do business with, I deal with personally, because they all operate on a high frequency, and we all challenge each other, and we all are focused on helping each other get to that next goal. And then we set goals that the average person may think is unattainable. You know, I remember when I told people at the company I was working for when I moved to Las Vegas, hey, one day I'm gonna be retired by the age of 40. And they laughed. And I haven't worked a 9 to 5 in 4+ years. So just understanding that you have to be around people who operate on a level of on a higher level of frequency. And so that's what I enjoy, working with people who operate at that same capacity. Think and Grow Rich, absolutely, one of my favorite books. It's a strategy problem, absolutely. Send me the invoice, King Anthony. I know you got it. All them deals you out there flipping in Chicago. Yeah, I've been seeing them checks, King. I'm counting your pockets. All right, no, I'm just playing. Yes, speak it into existence, the power of the mind, absolutely. Speak it into existence. You tell yourself you're going to be a millionaire. It may take you 15 years, but I promise you one thing. You won't be a millionaire working just having one linear income. Because guess what? The odds on that company not even sustaining for 15 years is promising. You know, the way the landscape of things are going. So definitely. All right, let's see what else we got. Is it a good idea to file bankruptcy if you have 2 liens on your home for an old credit card and a doctor bill? One celebrity, it depends. I would say it depends on how much the liens are, and to see if, filing bankruptcy will even take the liens off the property. So that would be something you may want to consult with an attorney on. And it sounds like you cross-collateralize those credit cards or something. You know, I'm not sure without really knowing your entire situation. Chase played me on the first round of funding. Yeah, Chase can be tough sometimes on a family. Chase has the 524 rule, meaning if you apply for a bunch of stuff within if you got more than 5 new accounts within 24 months, you can have a 9,000 credit score. Chase is going to deny you. So definitely understand how Chase works. Can you delete bankruptcies? Yes. King Anthony, you should know the answers to all these questions, man. All right. People think I'm crazy for saying I'm retiring December 31st at 38. Toy, yes, we're going to hold you accountable. Just make sure you invite us to the retirement party. Multiple streams of income is the way most people like to stay one-dimensional. Man, I'm telling you, definitely got to have multiple streams of income. All right, let me see what else. I don't even know how to start earning passive income. Very good question. Somebody asked, I don't know how to start earning passive income. I'm going to tell y'all, one of the things that I used to do is I would start outsourcing things that people needed to get. So I can remember when I was at a marketing company, I worked for Yellow Pages, and I didn't know how to build websites, but I knew there was a website that I can go to hire freelancers to build websites. So I used to charge people, $400 for the website, but then I owned the hosting. So they had to pay me a monthly hosting fee of, I think I was charging like $30 a month. I was getting a website built for $150, so I made $250, plus I was getting like $40 a month or $30 a month for every single person I brought on. It's a million ways to make money now. Yo, I'm telling you. Toro, definitely. Like, I've taught clients how to get who have multiple vehicles, and they now put them on Toro. So it's definitely a lot of ways to create passive income. It's another way that's, simple too, is by becoming an affiliate. I've had people who have just been affiliates who don't know anything about credit, but they go out there and bring clients to us, and we cut them a check for every client that signs up. So you don't have to know much about it. Just, you just got to be ambitious. And that's really what it all boils down to. All right. How much time we got left? Okay. If the business partner is willing to sign an operations of agreement and give up the majority of the company, do I have to involve them in getting business credit? Uncut Films, it sounds like you need a consultation, family. I will tell you this. The operating agreement is something that should be put together before you guys even go into business together. And whoever has the better credit should be the majority on paper. The operating agreement is just perception. It's only paperwork. It doesn't mean that's who gets the most profits. All right. My credit is an 800. My credit usage is less than 10% of my overall credit, which is a little over 50K, but I have little to no savings. What do you suggest? We got to help you create more income. Got to get more revenue. I'm not sure if you have a business, if you're trying to start a business, if you're an affiliate of a company, we got to help you get some more revenue. We need more strategies. Let me put it like that. Can you explain a 203K loan, stated product, and what can you advise about student loan judgment if it's less than 6K? Marcus Darling Official, you need a consultation, family. I can tell you, student loan judgment, yes, student loans will garnish your wages. If it's $6,000, if you don't have it, you're gonna have to work that out. But if they've already got a garnishment for you, they will take that. When you say stated products, you have to be a little bit more direct in relation to what you're talking about. If you're talking about as far as bank funding, yes, stated products means that you can state your income and other information. What is the cost of a consultation? Send a message, and we can get you the cost for the consultation. How do you become an affiliate? Send me a message, and my team will reach out to you. Is there an inquiry archive that banks can pull? Yes, they can, but it is only when they do a soft inquiry pull. That's the only time they have a data of the inquiries, if it's a soft pull. If it's a hard pull, yes, they have it internally. So like, for example, with American Express, if you apply for American Express and they do a hard credit pull, usually you can't go back to them within 90 days. So even if you got the inquiry removed off the report, they still have a database of that. Very good question, King Frank. All right. They just removed Sally Mae off my credit report after 7 years. Miss West 98. I know you was happy. Sally Mae do not play. Peace King Will. Peace King Will. I'm very proud of the work that you are doing along with Jay for the family. Man, I appreciate that. Thank you. Is it a crazy strategy to buy a house using funding from credit cards? Only if it's an investment property. You can't do it with your primary residency. And no, it's not crazy to do that, because guess what? That's how we bought all our properties, using other people's money with credit cards and lines of credit. All right. Let me not say that too loud before the banks change it up. All right. All right. Let me see. Need to scale, which is why I need business lines of credit moving into multifamily development here. JD, let's get it. Let's get it. It's just a strategy. Absolutely. It's just a strategy. Can you give me an example of what the 60K business trade line can get you for in your business? So we got to remember, when you buy a trade line, it's not about, hey, how much can I get? It's about positioning. That's why it's called an investment. So we have to be willing to properly position ourselves. You know, so I can tell you this, you maximize your funding potential, and, you know, and because there's a million banks out there, you can go to as many banks as you need to go to and level up. You know, like I say, let's get this capital. I'm telling you, it's not going to be this easy forever. Coach K, what's going on? For personal residency, what's the minimum credit score for a refi cash out usually? It depends on what bank you go to. Most of them want to see like a 620 to a 640. Given the game, Gary Gilliam. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I have my credit repaired, but a collection of 1,500 still shows up with Equifax. My score is a 780 with 2 trade lines, but I have no primary accounts. Will I qualify for business credit? It really depends. I will tell you that I would recommend you get someone to look at your credit, or it depends on what else is reporting on your credit report. And not every single bank is pulling Equifax, so it's ways around that. Big Dan, not sure what you're talking about. The same question, can you answer it? First of all, I answer what questions that I choose to answer, okay? But send us a message and we'll try to get your questions answered. Remember, I'm looking at 3 screens, so I can't get to all of the questions, family. Are you going to save this live? Yes, I will definitely try my best to save this live. All right. So, Big Dan, resend your question. I'm not sure what the question was, family. What should a person with great be seeking? Not sure what that means. All right, let me see. As you continue to acquire properties, banks will continue to pull hard credit inquiries. Do you continue to sweep your credit on a regular? Absolutely. I personally dispute my inquiries every 90 days. Every 90 days. 2 minutes left. Thank you for the time countdown, man. Appreciate that, family. All right, let me see. Try to get one last question in. Who got one last question? My bad, man. I keep asking. I thought my phone is messed up. Oh, it's all good, King. All right. Let me see. How do you feel about owner draw for business accounts to use for investment properties? Very good question. It really depends, but you don't have to do an owner draw, because guess what? Now you're using your personal capital. Let's use the bank money. Use the bank money for everything, yo. I'm telling you, let's buy up all the property with bank money, okay? So we got about 1 minute left. Family, I appreciate y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed this FICO Friday. If so, make sure you continue to share. Let's make this information go viral. Drop me your favorite emoji if you enjoyed this FICO Friday. I will be back next week. Not sure what the topic is going to be about 100%. If you guys have some potential ideas on topics, send them over to me. I want to give you guys what you guys need. So continue to bring that information over to me. JD, yes, send me that DM, family. Also, make sure every single Wednesday I go live, Q&A Wednesday. But remember, you got to tag in order for me to answer your question. So if you didn't get your question answered here today, make sure you see me. This is coming up Wednesday, Q&A Wednesday. Have your question. We tagging you in, and we trying to get everybody to get all the money out here so we can buy up all the real estate. All right, families? So I will see y'all next week. Until then, peace.